Hi guys, we're back. It's hot here, like
Hey, here
mid
too.
90s. Huh?
Here too.
Yeah, hence the the no shirt. Um, but crazy. I mean, I want to show you this. I've got a little fan that I have sitting next to me. Now this fan it ain't very old. But I deliberately haven't cleaned it. Right? You can't take it apart. You told me that if you spray it with water, put a bag over it and turn it on, that's the way to clean it. Well, I haven't done it yet deliberately because I want to show you. Oh no, my camera is always doing this. Just bear with me a sec.
Yeah. So we were both talking about how it's hot in China, it's hot in Southern California, and how we both don't believe that we're that far apart
Yeah,
if things are really so similar for us.
yeah. But what I want you to do, I want you to have a look at how dirty that fan is. Right? Now, I've done this deliberately. I deliberately haven't cleaned it. And then all I'm going to say is ask yourself, where does all that dirt come from? And that's all I'm going to say. All right? That's all I'm going to say. Um, why we get the kind of illnesses that we get. So, right, before we start, just a quick bit of housekeeping, guys. I want to apologize to some of our subs that have made awesome comments, but I can't see them. So if you make a comment and you don't get a heart or a thumbs up, it's because I can't see it. Somebody asked about the Mary, and he typed in, was Bloody Mary a he or a she? And I couldn't answer him, but it's not a she, bro. It's not a she. And a few others as well. They come up in my notifications, but when I click on them, they're not there. They're not on the channel. So we are being um, I'm sure we're being shadow banned. I mean, somebody made a comment, oh, you only need another 10 subscribers and you've got the magic 666. And I'm like, what? There was 681 when I looked the other day. And I went and looked and there was 654. So either people are just make sure that you're not being unsubbed, guys. Um, I mean, you were telling me earlier, Harry, some of our recent podcasts, we've had over 700 views.
Yes.
You know what I mean? With
Mhm.
600 subscribers. So, you know,
Yeah.
anyway, it's the
Hey,
quality.
I saw some comments too about uh, certain things going red and then being deleted. Yeah, and so I answered and I said, no, we don't delete them.
We never delete.
We don't even see them. We don't even
No,
see them.
no,
Yeah.
no. I can't remember the last time I deleted a comment. Um, so quick bit of housekeeping. Just a quick reminder on the VPN. Links will be in the description. 30% off, and you can go anywhere. I was yesterday. I was on going through Vienna, and I went on to BitChute and I clicked on a particular video and it wouldn't show up. Right? It said, "Oh, this is banned in your country because of." So all I did, I came here, I changed the location, went back, refreshed the screen, no problem at all. So links will be in the description for that, guys. Hide your privacy. Um, right. So where are we? Let's have a look at what we're going to look at today. We're a little bit not. I don't want to say all over the place, but let's just go with it. So we're talking about once again the stolen fake reality. Don't be silly, Nige. Many of the pictures on this slide I took from stolenhistory.net. I'll leave the link below. If you're not familiar with that website, there's some really good information over there. So I was reading through 2 or 3 different threads that weren't necessarily connected, and I managed to connect them within the realms of what Harry and I have been presenting to you guys. So, oh, excuse me. lies, cheats, deception. How easy is it? Let's take a look. Well, that should be let's look at a simple example. The power of the comma. Now, Harry, where would you place another comma in this sentence if you were not, if you were just a regular guy who wasn't aware of any of this? Where would you put it?
Well,
You'd put it where all my students put it, all my male students put it, right after the word man. Yeah.
Yeah, you move it, you're gonna change the what the meaning is completely.
Well, let's have a look. Woman without her man is nothing, and that's where all my male students put it. But where do the female students put it? They put it woman without her man is nothing. So the point of this, okay, Nigel, what's your point? The point of this is we have two sentences exactly the same. All we've done is move the comma and we have changed the meaning of the sentence 180 degrees. It's a complete flip. All right.
Mhm.
Now, we spoke when we were having a chat the other day, Harry, we spoke about the word mortal. And we consider ourselves to be mortal. Well, what does the word mean? This is from Etymological dictionary. Deadly, destructive to life, threatening death, illness, poisons, rah, 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 subject to death. So the word immortal would mean never die. So mortal means death. We know that mort in French also means death, and that mortgage means death pledge. Again, from Etymological, mort, gauge, dead pledge. So what about mortality? And this was the one that jumped out and hit me. A condition of being subject to death, the necessity of dying, massacre, slaughter, fatal, all negative stuff. So let's break down the word into the what's the word I'm looking for, Harry? The pronunciation. Yeah, mort a lit e. Mort a light I. Now let's add that powerful little comma, and what do we get? Death, a light eye. Mort, a light eye. Just playing with words. Don't be
Yeah, I mean,
silly.
what I get from that is you're saying that you die if you go to the light.
Yeah, possibly, or death is light.
Yeah,
I mean, we're all taught to fear death. Yeah,
yeah,
and this one actually shocked me a little bit. Don't be silly. How many times have we said to our kids, don't be silly? But look what silly means. Happy, fortuitous, prosperous. Don't be silly means don't be happy. If you tell someone, don't be silly or stop being silly, you're actually telling them to stop being happy. Another inversion. All right. So, inversions. This is what we were talking about with the presentation that Harry did with respect to the CD. Now, I want you to look at the bottom two. They look like a reflection. On first glance, they look like a reflection of each other. But if you look a little bit more carefully, you can see that this is not a reflection of this, and vice versa. Okay. I think this is from the movie Guardians of the Galaxy. I took this picture from Stolen History. But let's forget the bit at the bottom for a minute and look at the top. Let's just, for purposes of conversation, this is where we are. And this would be Summerland, the underworld, the other side of the CD. And one thing that jumped out and hit me, Harry, is the fact that you don't turn a CD over. When we were using vinyl records, LPs and singles, they had two sides, right? You had one song on one side and you turn it over and there were other songs. So this, if you like, think of this as being like a vinyl record, okay? And you're playing one side, you're playing the other side.
right.
this is also a picture. This is supposed to be a lighthouse. I mean, what it is, whether it's a lighthouse or not, I don't know. You made me laugh, Harry, when I showed you this, because this is in the desert. This is in the desert. Why would you have a lighthouse in the desert, Harry? Come on.
Sandstorms.
Yeah, because of the sandstorms. But again, you know, this ties in with the copy and paste idea that, you know, you can see this has been partially destroyed. So this was another picture from Stolen History, and it said that this is a map from, I think it was 950, the year 950. Well, we know that all that's nonsense. But what caught my eye was this landmass on the left here, right? And I thought of this that we did. This is from the Uaranon, whereby this is our known realm, and this is the unknown realm, which kind of syncs up with this map. Can you see what I mean, Harry?
Oh yeah, I mean it looks like a tracing of that Uranon map.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So circles, the circle of life. Now we're looking here at the Ouroboros. We have the Eye of Horus on the left. A couple of weird creatures at the bottom. So Ouroboros, this is supposed to be Saturn, the Roman god, was concerned with sowing seeds. Ouroboros, and again we're getting into the spring, summer, autumn, winter, spring, summer, autumn, winter. We look at it as being linear, but it's not. It's circular.
Yeah,
Yeah, dragon eating its own tail, which is what the Ouroboros is. They're everywhere. Not managed to find out yet if this is Chinese. If it is, it's old Chinese. And China plays a big part in this, guys, as you'll see in a minute. The flag of Tartary, the tail on the griffin, is the Ouroboros. And this one I found very, very interesting because, Harry, we've spoken at length about how this realm is the seven, right? The seventh realm. And inside this Ouroboros, there happen to be 7 stars. Each one has 7 points. Don't often see 7-pointed stars, but there's 7 of them within the Ouroboros, and they all have 7 points. We're getting back into the reincarnation trap. Again, this is supposed to be Egyptian, and the Ouroboros around the head. The Ouroboros around the sun, I find this one very, very interesting. This is supposed to be a carving. And look at the W on the word world. It's a reflection of a Y. It's a mirror image. Why? 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 I think this is a tarot card. Now, this is where it gets even more interesting. We have the black and white Ouroboros, and we have this, supposed to be in Maya, which is this, the yin and the yang, the black and the white, the good and the evil, the God and the Lucifer, the Jesus and the Satan, opposites that we spoke about last time. And then this is what made the connection for me, Christmas. Why do we use a wreath? What does a wreath symbolize? We use it at funerals. We use it at Christmas. A wreath is the Ouroboros, the symbol of the Ouroboros. Remove the word.
Before you go on, remember what you were talking about, the 7-pointed star?
Yep.
Do you know what that star is called?
No.
Well, hold on to your hats. It's called the fairy star, but it's also called 11 star.
Now, the fairy star, that has just blown me away. And you guys, you'll see why in a minute. This is what happens between Harry and I. You know, just something comes up and we look at something and we just go, oh my word. Well,
we looked at this. We looked at this yesterday, and I didn't even notice that these stars were 7-pointed stars. But upon looking them up, they're called fairy, and it's not spelled the same way. It's spelled F-A-E-R-Y, but then translated, it's fairy, like F-A-I-R.
Well,
but
originally fairy was spelled F-A-E-R. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, but the other name that these seven-pointed stars has is the 11 star.
Oh,
Is there a correlation between 7 and 11, like the store 7-Eleven?
well, yeah, because apart from 17, obviously, 7 and 11 are the only two numbers when you write them out that have the
Yeah,
word even
even
in them, even though they're odd numbers.
odd numbers.
Yeah,
Yeah, we've
yeah,
talked about in the past, so yeah.
yeah. Okay, so we were at this particular point. So the black and the white, the good and the evil, and the wreath. Remove the letter E, you have wrath, the wrath of God. Hmm. This is known as the sunstone. Why the again? I took this from Stolen History. I will leave a link below, as I say. Why there is the somebody's put the two white rings around it. If that's the Antarctica and the equator is all like is the first thing that comes to mind. Um, but again, we have a seven-pointed star on this what appears to be a dagger and a wreath. And right below, we have two little people, fairies maybe. We're all familiar with this, the Son of God, SUN, all connects back to the sunstone. This is an Egyptian, well, what appears to be an Egyptian crown. Again, look at the shape. Then we get into this. Now,
All related to the corona, huh?
absolutely. So she's wearing one here, but there's another one here. And then you have these, if you look to the left, you can see my cursor, you have the crown inside the wreath, and they have a wreath around their neck, which you can see better here. Now, this I'm going to leave a link to this particular thread on Stolen History, but this apparently is from 1992, an episode in 1992, and there's a reason why this painting or this picture is in the shot. When you zoom in, that's what you see. But very cleverly, the guy on Stolen History had done an image search for it, and he found this. Okay, what's this got to do with what we're talking about? Well, we've got fairies down here. We've got a horse or a donkey, and we have a female. Now, this is a direct connection to Titania and Oberon. And if you're unfamiliar with Titania and Oberon, go and read Midsummer Night's Dream by, well, we're told it's by William Shakespeare. But Titania, which kind of reminds me of Tartaria, and Oberon being the horse. Well, here we have the connection with the wreath or whatever you want to call it, and at the bottom there is a knight on a horse. Look at this staircase. What does it look like? Could it be a wreath? Could it be something that the shape of something you wear on your head or around your waist, some kind of belt? This is all connected to what we've been talking about and what we have been discussing. So I'm going to jump to the Stolen History in a second. I'll share that with you. But I said that this all kind of, when we were talking about China earlier, this is a modern map of China. So we're told. Okay, this is a modern map of China. We've got Mongolia at the top, and above that we've got Russia. Well, look what's on the Stolen History. AD 1820. The dark yellow is China. And all the rest, we've got Tartary, we've got Mongolia, but here we've got Manchuria. Well, Manchuria now is Heilongjiang. If we look at this map, Harbin, which is right up in the north, it's bloody cold in Harbin, I can tell you. Shenyang, and you can see Beijing right on the edge. Okay. So one from today and one from 200 years ago. So this takeover that's been happening, and it's all in plain sight. has been going on for around 200 years at least. But let me just show you something else. Let me stop sharing that and share. Where are we? Okay, so this is the thread from Stolen History, Star Trek's Hidden Agenda, from 5th of February 1992, called The Offspring, which I find very, very interesting. It says that Data basically creates his own child, and the child actually gets to choose its own gender. Now, this is from Star Trek, and this is Aleister Crowley's Lamb character. All right. Now he goes on to talk. These are the pictures that I took, that I dropped into the presentation. But if we scroll down, sorry, won't move any quicker. Somebody has responded with some very, very interesting images.
Mm-hmm.
Predictive programming. Yeah. What do you think, bro?
Oh yeah, they fed us this stuff in the 60s, only to bring it to make it more real to us. And when we see it, then we'll say, "Oh yeah, I remember that."
Yeah. Here, even before Star Trek, you have Dan Dare's The Mekon from the planet Venus, Lucifer the Lightbringer, which we spoke about in our last podcast. Lucifer, demonizing. I mean, that is essentially what we have been taught would be a demon. This image has been implanted in our mind as to be a demon.
And you mentioned Aleister Crowley, and according to seven-pointed star symbolism, that seven-pointed star is, I think he named it in his Hermetic Kabbalah, that it was also corresponding to the planet Venus. So you're definitely on that same track.
Yeah. And the Venus being the light bringer, being the Lucifer, being, again, what we have been taught, what we have been told, are not so much lies, but it's deception. It's deception all the way. It's much easier to deceive than it is to lie. Liars, if I tell you a lie, it's easy to get caught out. We were talking yesterday about that infamous day in like 20 years ago. Did they find nanothermite or whatever it was? No, we didn't. Did you look?
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, because we didn't look for it.
We didn't look for it.
Yeah. So it's a lie by omission. But it's not a lie, because the guy was telling the truth when he answered the question. No, we didn't find it.
Well, there's two parts, right? If you ask the question the right way, you can't squirt with a lie. But when the questioner and the guy who's answering the question are on the same page, because they're both being paid by the same people, you're going to get the scripted question and you're going to get the scripted answer. And by that means, you can get around the truth and be a deceptive, a deceptive answer.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're finding it. I don't know about you, Harry. I'm certainly finding it getting more and more difficult to use discernment right now. There's so much deception out there right now. It's getting harder and harder, more difficult to find what is the truth. You know what I mean? Well, it's all by design.
Well, a lot of people will admit that just because you research something doesn't mean that the sources you're using are even valid. That's why they have to resonate with you based on a constant building of what your previous information is. Then you test that information. if it rings true, then you can go forward. But if there's even some slight issue with it, you're stuck until you can weed through it.
Yeah, and all this talk about, you know, raising your frequency, raising your vibration, ascension, all this nonsense. I think it's more to do with inner standing. It's not. It's not just seeing through the deception. It's inner standing, like you just said, Harry, with what resonates with you. You know what I mean? I mean, I've seen some of the. We've got to be careful what we say on this platform, but you know, I've seen some of these videos where people who have had and then become very, very, you know, I've looked at a couple of those and I thought, this is bullshit. You know, these are actors. This ain't real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane.
In some cases, they're controlled opposition because their goal is to make the truther or the person who's trying to enlighten, make him look stupid.
Yeah.
Make him discredit them.
Yeah. Well, that's how they do it. It's all about discrediting us, right? We've gone from being the crazy tinfoil hat wearing nut job to now being fooled into thinking that something that we're seeing. Hey, look, we told you. Look at this. We told you, and then you find out that it's not what you first thought it was.
I saw something funny on my YouTube feed. You know, Alex Michael, the guy who is the conspiracy music guru that did the intro song for Crow 777. Yeah. He had posting a picture of a little boy wearing an aluminum tinfoil hat, and the caption read, "I can take my tinfoil hat on anytime I want, and I can take it off anytime I want. But what about you? Can you take this out?" Who's crazy?
Yeah, absolutely. Right, so comment below, guys. See what you think. I know this is kind of a little bit all over the place, but not kind of all over the place. We're just trying to tie a few things together. We're still exploring the copy and paste idea, because so much of it makes sense. I actually wrote a blog on stolen history yesterday, kind of what if, because nobody on there is addressing what we're talking about with it being the copy and paste. And if you're not familiar with it, guys, there is a podcast on the channel called Copy and Paste. We're going along the lines of, you are the creator. You have created everything on your hard drive. I steal your computer. I copy your hard drive. I put it back. No damage. I then put that information on my computer, all the information, your creation, and I destroy 70% of it. Okay, and then we start rebuilding, and then this ties in with Genesis, ties in with Genesis 1, ties in with the Bible, in many different ways.
And don't forget the backfilled 1,000 years, right?
Yeah.
Because now they have plenty of room where the cliff is, right? Where they've destroyed the starting point, there's a cliff there. Now they just backfill 1,000 years, and now they say that, you know, this happened and this happened, when they really didn't. No. They only happened a couple of hundred years ago.
Yeah. And we showed that. I showed that with a map of China at the end of that presentation. You know, 200 years ago, you know, China was a third of the size that it is today. You know what I mean? So, all right, guys. Well, once again, welcome to all our new subs. Please check to make sure you are still subbed and the bell. You've got the bell on. And we'll see you in a few days. Anything you want to finish with, bro?
I just wanted to say that today you tied in exactly with what we talked about with the Queen. These royals, they are, wearing these necklaces that are just wreaths. They got the crowns. They're identifying themselves as nobility, and in reality, what they're hiding is they're trying to kind of camouflage themselves and say that they're human, but they've got an agenda. And we were looking at a video that you actually sent me. Some of these sick agendas that they have, they have these crazy agendas, and those agendas are focused on children today. And we see they're moving towards some really crazy and sick concepts, and they're doing kind of like what they did with the children we saw on the in the incubators. They were a whole new set of kids, and the set that they're trying to create now is to damage them, in a sick way, and cause them to be to have split personalities.
Yeah.
So that's where we're headed.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I just want to throw in. I was watching a channel. It's called Jurassic Liars, and he does a lot of numerology, gematria. And one thing that he's pointed out that nobody's thought of when we're looking at particular dates and so on and so forth. Let's say, for argument's sake, July the 4th that you just recently had. Okay. You'd write that date down as 7/4, yeah. But in actuality, from the beginning of the year, it's 6 full months and 4 days into the year.
Yes.
So 6/4 becomes as important as 7/4, right? So like my birthday is October 1. So I've always, the first of the 10th, but it's actually 9 months and 1 day into the year.
Yeah.
So the 91 or the 19 now become, because it works both ways, 10/1 or 1/10. That now plays. I'm going to start looking into how that fits into my
it's the same thing. It's just looking at it from a different perspective. It's almost like saying the distance between two numbers versus the actual occupation of how many, right? Like you're in the 10th month, but you're really only 9 months and a day.
Yeah.
So that's crucial. Yeah, very good.
Yeah. All right, guys. I forgot to put my email address on the screen. We've got a new email for those who don't know. It's thedevilsplayground2@protonmail.com. I'll put it in the show notes. So if there's anything that you want to send us, and Harry's going to set one up as well. He's been a bit slack ass. If there's anything you want to send us that you can't put in the comments, or you don't want to put in the comments, then just flick it over to the channel's email address, and we'll pick it up there. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for being with us, and we will see you in a few days. Take care.
All right. Take care.